Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CAP MMA Show. Today is Sunday, December 29th, 2024. I'm your host, Joe White. I'll be doing this solo today. I won't have any of my co-hosts with me, but special shout-out to Trace, Usman, Mike, and Tony, and special shout-out to everybody in the CAP MMA group chats over on X, 24/7, 365 days a year. MMA on Christmas. I love it. Our whole team loves it. I have a partial show planned for you today. I will give my take on a couple of hot topics, and then I will review some of my future bets, my end-of-year champion bets for 2025. They're all that I've placed right now. I'm not hiding any bets. I don't bet large, but I do enjoy betting, so we'll go over a few of those. With that said, Tommy Toehold it, and let's do this shit. Right now would be our normal weekly review segment where we would review last week's fights and last week's bets and last week's rumors, last week's fight announcements. We would hit the whole slew of things right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and talk about a couple of hot topics. Damon Martin posted that Cowboy Cerrone is back into the UFC drug testing pool. So I think this is a topic that caught a little wind or caught a little fire when he first announced that he was going to come back. And now that he's in the pool, there's still some rumbling, but I actually expect that by the time his 6 months in the pool are up, June or July, whenever it is he says he plans to come back and a fight is booked, I actually expect this to be a pretty hot topic. This kind of opens up a gateway for the argument or idea that a fighter could retire, use PEDs, which are medications. They are medications given by drug or by physicians for a multitude of reasons. So, if you choose to use them for performance enhancing reasons, anyways, babble a little bit there. Sorry. It opens up the idea of whether or not someone could use PEDs to try and heal their body and then clean them out and re-enter their promotion. Cowboys able to do this in lieu of worrying about a contract, in lieu of worrying about a lot of things that might come with the dogma of what a promotion might think of you if you were doing this before you made it in the UFC. But he comes out of retirement and he's already under contract with the UFC. Cowboy is 41 years old, 48 fights in the UFC. I think they're all Zuffa era forward. He says he wants to compete at 185 pounds. More power to him. I don't know. I feel like I've done PEDs. I'm fully honest about that. I've never fought. I've never stepped in a cage or an octagon or a ring. But I've done PEDs, and they are amazing. The way you feel, if you're 30-something or in your early 40s and you're like, oh, I still feel like I did when I was 18, no, you're delusional. No, you don't. And if you do TRT along with any anabolic steroids to help your body heal, process, synthesize protein, you will realize that you do not feel like you are 18 years old, but they will make you feel like you are. I think that there is the possibility that by the time he's cleaned out, I know he's cleaned out and testing clean, but he's cleaned out now, and by the time he's 6 months off of the roids or off of the PEDs, he's probably a few weeks, couple months off now. You're looking at maybe near a year off the juice. Curious to see how he feels. Curious to see if he's still pumped on fight week, still feels like this was a great idea, or if he's talking about his age and talking about, how time has affected him. I love Cowboy. I watch his YouTube channel. I think I've watched everything he's been in. He's a really good guy. I don't know if this is a good look for the sport. And as much as I do want to see him come back, and I would love to see him get 50 fights, coming back at 185 because you were taking peptides or TRT or whatever else you were on for over 2 years. I don't know. I think it's open for debate, and I would need further debate with my guys before I can decide if I feel like this is cheating. I know if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, but damn. I don't know. Anyways, with that said, on the complete flip side, UFC legend, MMA great, and I believe he's got a fight in the Hall of Fame already. Cub Swanson says he will probably never fight again. Says that with the knockout over Billy Quinn, it's probably the right moment. It's probably perfect, and this is probably it. He said in his fight before he felt like he had a great performance and looked great, but just couldn't pull the win out, and he thinks that this might be the moment. That was in a post-fight interview on the UFC post show on ESPN or ESPN Plus. Pre-fight, he alluded to the fact that this could indeed be his last fight as well. If that is it for Cub Swanson, I've met him. He's a very nice guy. I've met him more than once, actually, and it's always a pleasure. He's a super nice guy, and I wish him the best. If it were up to me, I'd like to see him come back for an official retirement fight, win, lose, or draw, maybe headline a fight night card against, say, maybe Jim Miller at 150-pound catchweight. I know that that's just throwing something out there that's not the most likely thing, but I'm just thinking of legends, guys who have been around that are still in the UFC. I know they're the same height. They're about the same height. So size-wise, I feel like they could match up. Yeah, I'd just like to see Cub have a farewell fight. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so with that, we will shift over to... let's do a promo here. This show is brought to you by our very own website, capmma.com, the best place for side-by-side odds so that you can make sure you are getting the best line for all of your bets. Some of the features include money line odds, overs, unders. We have a huge database of scorecards, MMA related, a few boxing ones in there, but not very many at all. But we have a huge database of MMA scorecards. You can type someone's name in, check cards and hit search, and it'll bring up all of their cards. If you don't find it in our database, message us. We'll put it in there if you can find it. But we have just about every card you can find. There's a whole lot more. You can look up fighter stats, rankings. It draws live information. It's 100% free, 100% ad-free, 100% need your information free. Just bear with the loading time. It's about 30, 40 seconds. It gathers odds from 50 books, sometimes more than that, live. The over-unders, if they're available, puts it all in parlay calculators, connects to like I said, the scorecard database. About 30, 40 seconds. Bear with the time, the loading time on it, but it's a pretty awesome site. I worked very hard on it for a long time, me and some coders and some other folks. I didn't do the whole thing by myself. From there, I want to move over to a hot topic of PFL, and let's see if I got him here. Oh, I don't think I have their screen here, but I do have it here. There we go. I'll let you guys look at it up there. So the PFL bought Bellator in late 2022, November 2022. I'm sorry, 2023. It was pretty easy to call that it was a talent grab. The UFC was in a position where they couldn't really bid for fighters or their promotion due to their the antitrust lawsuit, which I suspect that PFL was helping to fund, lobby, and just help fund keeping it going behind the scenes, because it put them in a position to step in and buy Bellator for no physical money, just a stock option into PFL. Then they went on this thing about how the Bellator brand would stay alive. Many fans speculated, will they just go to the Bellator model, the PFL? And then they're basically turning the Bellator brand into a Grand Prix or a tournament that leads up to their world tournament. What they're doing is they're using the Bellator name to keep fighters that they don't want to go to the UFC, even if they don't want to pay them, to keep them locked under contract under lock and key. We've seen Patchy Mix take some issue with it. Cyborg had a problem getting a fight for a while, or campaigning for a fight for a while. Pitbull right now, huge. He's begging. He's begging for his release, and the PFL just doesn't give a shit. He should have already been released. There's no reason that he shouldn't, other than the fact that they don't have a roster of talent deep enough to let a guy like Pitbull go. He's 37 years old. They're going to age him out. He's somewhat aged out, and I'm not being disrespectful. He's somewhat aged out already in terms of MMA. Anything he's got left in him, a run at the UFC since his home company is no more. Don the Con Davis is just preventing him from getting there. Doesn't want to pay him. If you don't want to sign to a PFL contract, they try to stall you out and wait you out. And I'm sure that some lower salaries come with those contracts too. I don't have anything nice to say about PFL or Don the Con Davis at this point. I hashtag Don the Con all the time. I've submitted to PFL more than once when we were doing Just Spaces to ask to interview Don. I was very honest with my submission that it wouldn't be an Ariel Fluff interview. I love Ariel. I do this because I'm a massive Ariel fan, or at least I was. But Ariel doesn't hit him as hard as he should. He doesn't question a lot of the guys over at PFL or affiliated with PFL the way that he should. I feel like I would butcher Don Davis in an interview. I wrote some explicit to Don Davis to end that segment, but I think that I'll keep it to myself just for the sake of not making a fool of myself. People from a distance can't tell who is who, From there, we would move on from our weekly review to our Post the Slip segment. Post the Slip will be a segment where we're going to do $100 to $1,000 challenge as a team. Everybody will post our slips every week. We'll have a thread on X where we post our official slips. I'm not sure if it will be one thread that we pin to our profile and just comment on for the entire year, or if we will do a thread every week. I'm not sure how that'll work, but basically how it's going to work is we're going to set a betting minimum, probably $5, which we'll call half a unit for this tournament, with a maximum bet out per week of maybe 2 or 2.5 units or 3 units or a certain percentage of your purse. We're ironing those details out, but we're definitely going to do this. And part of this will be that the slips that we post, the bets that we say we're doing for this, we will post every week. I will personally post my slips, a little scribble here and there on them, but I won't hide any dollar amounts. It's not huge bets, and I'm proud of that. We're just going to try to 10 times our money. Take $100 and 10 times it to see if we can do it. We've got some really sharp guy. Trace Pick Fights, Better Times, Blonde Olives. These guys are really sharp. They kill the bookies. I've seen guys be excited that they've went up, 10 units in a year. I don't want to burn bread on anybody, but I've seen that several times in a year with outer regression out of some of these guys. So, I figure we'll talk about that. Let me, I forgot to switch that screen over there back to our lovely website there. Anyways, I won't babble on about that. Gamble responsibly, but I look forward. I look very forward to doing this. Anybody will be able to get in. The rule will be you follow the minimum maximum bets. You have to post a slip every single week once you start, and if you go down by $100, you're out for the year. That'll be the base premise of the competition. From there, I am going to share some of my future bets for end of year 2025 championship in place of Post the Slip. So the first bet that I have, let me actually fold through here. I guess I should have did that while I was babbling on just a second ago. But the first bet that I did is our team parlay. We held a space, and we talked about all the ones that we could agree on. And, of course, we couldn't all agree on all of them. But we went ahead and created a team parlay. The team parlay was Chimaev, Evolov, and Amanda Nunes to be champions by the end of 2025. Trace got something like plus 4,900 on it or something. Absolutely amazing. I need to get in better habits personally of chasing the slips. I mean, Trace, Mike, these guys beat the shit out of the lines. You'll be like, you didn't get that line, and they'll show you a slip. You won't even know that line hit. So I missed the line. It was only going to be plus 2,600, even though I'm not 100% sure that Tom Aspinall or Evolov will be champions. I'm not 100% sure on any of them. But I went ahead and added Tom Aspinall so that I could get up to plus 46.76 if I'm waiting. It wasn't a huge wager, but $5 will get me $238.84. I think the guys all added Tom Aspinall to their multi-leg when they stacked this thing up. So I thought that was a good group pick to add that. Like I said, I think it's John if he holds it out, but if it's not John, it's 100% Tom. So, and I have no question about that whatsoever. From there, I played a 3-leg parlay, the Daggy standing parlay. Let me see, did I switch? Yep, I did switch that. It's the Dagestani parlay here. I got plus 996 for Bilal Muhammad at plus 200. Islam at minus 135, and Umar at plus 110. I put $10 on it. Gets me $109.66 if it hits. I do think they're the best team in MMA. I do think that Bilal is... I think the only person that can beat Bilal Muhammad is Joaquin Buckley. I think Buckley hits hard enough to change any fight. And I'm rooting for Buckley. But realistically... I think the most probable champion, especially after watching Shavkat and Gary, is at 170 is Bilal. So I think Islam, same thing, 155 lock. And Umar, if it's not Merab, it's Umar. So I feel like I'll know soon if this one is going to hit. From there, though, what I did is I actually hedged this bet. Let's see here. I hedged it with... I took these guys and I put them in a round robin. Same 3 guys, but I get Bilal with Umar, then I get Islam with Umar, and then I get Bilal with Islam. It's on the screen. You can see it. I put $5 on. It's a $5 round robin, so it was $15 to play all 3 bets. If any combination of the 2 hits, I am almost covered. The Umar Islam only I'd lose like a dollar or something on the bet. But either if the other 2 hit and the 3-leg doesn't, I'm actually still profitable. Pennies, nothing worth bragging about, but I just feel like that was, I don't know, I was pretty proud of that bet to find the 3 of them in a parlay and then be able to round rob them and only find one combination that wouldn't hedge me out for profit on the entire bet. From there, my last future of the year is a 2-pick parlay. It is Amanda Nunes to return by the end of the year, become champion, and hold it. I base this on I don't think she would retire because I think that it would upset Dana. I think she would just hold the belt and then maybe not fight again and retire later. And then Diego Lopez, he's got to be the guy on the fastest rocket ship to the top, in my opinion. The UFC loves him. The fans love him. He's a phenomenal fighter. I know there's other guys, Chimaev. I know there's other guys, but the time we've taken. Man, I wouldn't compare him to Izzy's run to a title. But man, it might be close if he actually were to pull that title. If he were to get a dub in his next fight and then fight for the title and win it, say by August. I don't know. I don't know all the dates on his fight. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm willing to bet that it would be a very similar rise to some of the guys that have done it the fastest and done it the strongest. So that's it. That's all I worked out for today's show. I didn't want to go on. This is, like I said, a demo show for my guys. It will be on YouTube. I think everybody will be able to see it, but it was really just to let my guys know some of the stuff we can do over here, get something on video for all of our listeners. A lot of you guys have been with us for a long time. We've been doing Spaces for 3 years. We've got some guys that are in there 3-4 hours every Tuesday, open to close, listening. And I think they're all eager for us to get over here and do something on YouTube and do something a little more too. We've got some cool ways to later on figure out how to bring the space into these streams so that we can still talk with everybody. Until then, we'll hit comments. You seen in a shot earlier, I've got a big screen so I can interview people later on. The cable didn't work for the hookup today, or I was going to demo it, but I'll get that figured out. And from there, here at CAP MMA, we are all huge MMA fans, but almost our entire team are also really, really big MTV The Challenge fans. So with that said, I'll leave you with a node to the challenge. Challenge watchers will get this, and those who don't, you'll get it anyway. Here's to yous and here's to us. Friends together, look at us. But if we ever have a tuss, fuck you. Here's to us. CapMMA.com. Thank you, everybody.